If that had been the case, you wouldn't have had to get in a bad mood doing unnecessary jobs.
食堂の準備ができましたよ。いつでも運べますからね。
もうじきですので、配膳車の準備をお願いします。
Without thinking, even Kumasawa caught Goda's high spirits. The kitchen had a very nice smell and atmosphere about it. Truly refreshing for so early in the morning. Then, Kanon came back in the usual bad mood he always had from the moment he woke up. Okay, well, before we continue with this, there are like two things I want to address. Mainly that, so far we have seen 4 people dead, and... Okay, well, excuse me for interrupting this wonderful atmosphere in the morning and such, but I do have to talk about this. But yeah, we've seen 4 people dead, and we know that from the prologue 2 more people are gonna die. I mean, in general, we know that 2 people are gonna have to die, because first Twilight, of course. Hideyoshi is still alive, oh well and all. So, I guess we need to see if Genji is still alive. That and Natsui and Kraus and... who else? Is there anybody else that we haven't seen but don't know? I think that those are it. And now, the second thing that I want to address is the blood of the dead corpses and such. Like, the blood turned dark red, which means that some time has passed since they died, before Beller woke up. My general rule of thumb is like 2 hours, like give or take. Like that is when blood starts losing oxygen and such. When the hemoglobin will no longer have like oxygen, like that is when discoloration is gonna happen. Kanon and Genji were in charge of getting many things ready for the morning, such as opening the curtains. However, Kanon had been alone today, so it had taken much longer than usual.
終わったよ。源氏様は？
まだいらっしゃらないの。珍しいわね。寝坊されるなんて。
あの源氏さんでもお寝坊をね。
親族会議の最中だというのに緊張感に欠けてますね。カノンさん、起こしてきてあげてくれませんか？
はい。
寝ぼけまなこの源氏さんってどんな顔なのかしら。私もご一緒しますよ。
Even though God had asked her to get the serving cart ready, Kumasawa followed nimbly after Kanon, skillfully skipping work. As Kanon muttered about how Goda was the one who slept in all the time, he headed for the servants' sleeping quarters.
カノンさんは今朝起こさなかったんですか？
僕は昨夜、使用人室でそのまま寝ちゃったんで、控室には戻ってないんです。
Last night, Kanon had dozed off while in the middle of this late night shift, falling asleep in the servant room. Sharon had been kind enough to put a blanket on him, but that had just made it so warm that he fell into an even deeper sleep. So he hadn't returned to his bed in the servants' quarters last night. And because of that, he hadn't met Genji even once this morning. He knocked on the door.
源氏様、カノンです。おはようございます。
You better not be sleeping more than usual. Because I know of some cousins who are sleeping more than usual. They are not going to be waking up anytime soon, so I hope it's not the same for you. Although it's probably more than likely going to be the same for you.
あらあら、まだお休みかしら。
失礼します。
When Kana was about to open the door, he noticed something strange on the upper part of it. Oh. What is that? Duct tape? To hell? Okay, well this is new. I mean, of course it's new. Like, what does it say over here? Erika Furudo? Francesca Bencastel? A small strip of duct tape was stuck along the frame of the door. Almost as though it was sealing the door shut. Furthermore, there were small slits made with scissors along the center of the duct tape. So that if you open the door even a slight amount, it will be torn in two. Huh. I see. Okay, well this surely is new. I guess Erika prepared duct tape for the occasion. She definitely came prepared for this. Like, it is indeed a good move to do. To determine whether someone went through the door or not. Like, same can be done on windows, I assume, in that case. Like, you can just put duct tape, like, on the door or the window. If somebody opens it, then clearly, we will know. Because the duct tape is going to be ripped apart. It will be torn in two if somebody opens them. But it makes me question why Erika would even write her name on the duct tape. And not just her name, but Ben Castell's as well? Unless that is her full name, because, well, that is what Ben Castell gave Erika. He isn't just Fururo Erika, but it's Fururo Erika Francesca Ben Castell. Oh boy, talk about a self-insert, am I right? But I guess she done it to not make us think it was a culprit? To not make us think about the culprit when they done this? Like, Erika would tell us directly that she done this, and she does not want us to think that a culprit did it? I mean, obviously Erika did this nonetheless, because the culprit has never used such a thing in the previous games at all. And it surely does not help the closed room murders at all, so yeah, it has to be Erika. But the thing is, though, if this duct tape was put and nobody ever opened the door and such, then that would imply that there's nothing wrong going on inside this room. But if we are to think that Genji died and is inside, what over here, if I am to imagine this situation where we're gonna find Genji dead in the servants' quarters and such, that would imply that Erika put this duct tape right over here after the culprit did their job. The culprit put killed Genji either inside the servants' quarters, or the culprit put Genji's body inside the quarters and then just left. And then Erika just came in to check in on Genji, and then she finds out that Genji is dead. And then she decides to leave the body as is, and then just put the duct tape on the door, just to see if anybody else comes in. Which is more than likely interesting, because there's no way for somebody to put the duct tape before Genji died, if Genji is inside this room, that is. I guess we shall see. Also, written softly across the duct tape with fine pen was what appeared to be someone's signature? Wait a minute. Did I just say... I think I read that as Francesca? I think it was Frederica Bencasto, right? Yeah, I think so. I think I said Francesca for some reason. It's not very clear from here. It was written in a very elaborate and decorative manner. And if it was signature, I kind of had no idea whose name was written.
誰かのいたずらでしょうか。
わからないけど、こんなの今は気にしててもしょうがない。源氏様、失礼します。
He opened the door, ripping the duct tape. Nothing in particular happened when it was ripped, so the strange piece of duct tape was quickly forgotten. Thing is, though, this is from the perspective of the servants and all that. If I am to go with my theories that I had in the previous game that I've done for the Season 4 investigation and such, we cannot really trust the perspective of what is going on over here. For all we can, what we are gonna know for sure is that when Battler, or I guess in this case, Erika, if she were to come over here, she would notice that the duct tape has been ripped. But we are not gonna know when that duct tape has been ripped. Like, the narration over here says that the duct tape has been ripped, like, right now, after 7 a.m., but who knows, maybe it was ripped way before, and such. It was not ripped by Canon. Although it could have been ripped by Canon. Who knows? I don't know. The room was dimly lit. The bunk bed's lower bunk still had a lump under the blanket. Apparently, Genji was still sleeping.
おはようございます、源氏様。
源氏さんらしくもない。朝でございますよ。
源氏様。
なんですかこれは。なんですかこれは。
Yep, sounds about right. Okay, what do we have over here? Corpse discovered in the servants' quarters on the first floor. Okay, not much else here. There was a large dark red stain on the blanket. No, this was one of the servants' blankets. Even those were always kept clean. There was no way they would have a stain like this. Kalon hesitantly peeled back Genji's blankets, saw what was left of him, and was shocked into silence.
何よこれ、首がすっぱりやられてる。
鋭利だが、相当の刃渡りのものでなければここまでの切り口にはできまい。
どういうことよ。碑文の謎をバトラが解いたんでしょ。どうして殺人が起こるわけ。
わからん。いずれにせよ厄介なことになるぞ。ベアトリーチェ様と夏希様にご報告申し上げた方がいい。
ベルフェは急いでルシネーに報告を。
心得た。
After dashing out, Kumasawa called Goran-shan over. Then, this new pair let out screams identical to the first two.
ちょっとゴーダ朝食の準備をサボっちゃダメ。
そんなこと言ってる場合じゃないでしょ。2日目の朝食は決して静かに取れやしないってわけだわ。嫌な予感がする。源氏だけで済まないかもしれない。屋敷内を確認するわよ。他にも何か起こっているかもしれない。
はい、お姉様。
Natsu sprang awake at the sudden sound of the phone. To Natsu, the fact that she had woken up was surprising in itself. She had thought she was going to spend the whole night unable to sleep out of fear that the mysterious man might come in at any moment. But at some point she must have fallen asleep. Of course, she still didn't feel rested at all. As she groaned from the dual pain in her head, which hadn't gone away once since last night, she managed to get out of bed.
おはようございます、夏希様。
おはよう。最悪の朝です。
ご安心を。誰も部屋へ立ち入ろうとはしませんでした。
さあ、不審判をありがとう。
Even so, that didn't mean she had been able to sleep peacefully. The continued ringing of the phone made her headache throb even more strongly.
電話にお出になられた方がよろしいかと。あと、良くないご報告が妹たちから。
I have a random thought over here. Right here we see that Lucifer has been guarding Natsu like the entire night. What if, in human claim, that is the equivalent of Natsu holding the stake like under her pillow, like just in case the mysterious man will come in, Natsu will be prepared with a stake and such. That is a possibility.
良くない報告は後にしましょう。先に電話を取ります。
Natsu shook her head to wake herself and picked up the receiver. Then, she regretted not listening to Lucifer's bad news first. because she wanted the first thing she heard about this horrible morning to be something better than this.
おはよう、母さん。よく眠れた？
And that voice told her that this horrible morning, this nightmare, was still not over.
約束は守りましたよ。私はずっと部屋にこもっていました。もちろん電話もしていません。
でも、この電話には出ちゃったよね。
それは。
冗談だよ。この電話は母さん思いの僕からのモーニングコールだ。おはよう、母さん。
人はどれだけ苦労すれば。
Natsuki gripped the receiver so hard it creaked.
パーティーの準備のために母さんには席を外してほしかったのさ。おかげで準備は整ったよ。もちろん主賓は母さんだ。
何を始めるつもりですか？
それは今日のお楽しみかな。大丈夫。待たせないよ。もう始まってる。そうだ、ちょっと待って。声を聞かせたい人がいる。
Yeah? There was the sound of the receiver being jolted around. And the phone was apparently being passed to someone else. That was a clunking, clattering noise. As though it was taking a lot of effort to hand the receiver over. What? Okay, well, this is unexpected. The hell is the man trying to do? I wonder what was he giving the phone to? From what Natsuki knew of this man, no matter who he was giving the phone to, it couldn't be good news for her. Oh.
これを解け。卑怯者め。
あなたなの？
解け。
It was, without a doubt, the voice of her husband. However, he didn't respond to Natsuki's voice. Perhaps he was bound somewhere in the darkness. Kraus, not realizing that Natsuki was on the other end of the phone, repeatedly demanded that he be untied.
あんたの夫はここにいる。目も耳も塞いでるからね。話はできないけど、無事なのは分かってもらえたと思う。
何が目的ですか？夫を解放して。
明日には解放するよ。二つ約束を守ってくれればね。
何ですか？
一つは、あんたの夫を僕が預かっていることを秘密にすること。屋敷ではそのうちクラウスの姿が見えないと騒ぎになるだろうけれど、母さんは何も知らないから何も口出しできない。わかるね？
わかります。もう一つの条件は？
ちょっとしたゲームだ。今日の昼の1時になったら屋敷の1階の一番手前の客室に入り、クローゼットの中に隠れているんだ。
客室？
Oh no.
どうして私がクローゼットの中などに？
ちょっとしたかくれんぼだよ。誰にも見つからずにそこで1時間隠れていることができたら母さんの勝ち。もし誰かに見つかったら母さんの負け。
負けたらどうだというのですか？
別に何もないよ。遊びってそういうもんでしょ。このかくれんぼに付き合ってくれたら明日には夫を解放するよ。
その約束本当に守るんでしょうね？
もちろんだ。母さんこそ守ってよ。約束を破れば僕にはすぐにわかる。
Just then, there was a sudden loud knock on the door to Natsu's room. Her heart leaped automatically.
奥様いらっしゃいますか。おはようございます。
ゴーダとカノンでございます。奥様、どうかお目覚めを。
The voices coming through the door were Kanon's and Goda's. The knock had me wild, and the voices were a little shrill. It seemed that something strange had happened, and that they were agitated.
何？どうしたの？
なんでもありません。使用人が来たようです。
Kanon is there. Well, I can definitely see this as a magic claim moment over here. Like, before I was thinking that, hey, it can't be Kanon that is the mysterious man, which would imply that he's calling from a completely different place. But if Kanon is here, then one may think that, oh, well, the mysterious man cannot be Kanon at the point. But either we're talking about this being a magic claim, in which case we can already trust the narration going on over here 100%. Or it could be Shannon who is doing it.
もう切りますよ。
僕の言いたいことは全部伝えたからね。じゃあ、約束破らないでよ。
わかりました。あなたこそ約束を破らないのですよ。
違うね。母さんがそれを決めるんだよ。僕に約束破らせないでね。母さん。
Okay, now that voice sounds a little like Kanon.
今日一日母さんを見てるからね。
Clack. Lambda Delta slammed the receiver down on an antique phone. Then the phone exploded into bits and changed into a spray of gold, which became a group of gold butterflies and disappeared.
踊ってちょうだいね、夏日。19年前の罪に怯えながらね。
Okay, like, I feel like at this point I really need to think a little harder on what is going on here between Lambda Delta and Ben Castel. With what Natsuki is being told here to do, she is basically gonna be falling into being suspected of murder at this point. Like what we've seen at the beginning of this episode. I mean, Hideyoshi dies in the guest room of the first floor of the mansion, so it is as if Lambda Delta is luring Ben Castel into thinking that Natsuki is the culprit. But I am of the firm belief that it is not her, but someone else. So Lambda Delta doing such a thing is either to trick Erika into thinking that it is Natsuki, or that it is a distraction. Like, who knows? Maybe Lambda Delta is waiting for Balor to succeed, like in getting our Princess Beatrice, like out of her funk. So I guess there's that.
Dude, do you enjoy trying to figure out people's plans and saying them out loud so that the enemy may know what my intentions are?
Well, excuse me if I'm not in a loop with everything that you guys think about. Beatrice, Lambda, Ben Castel. I am basically on my own here. Except I am a chicken with my head cut off. My leg is broken. I am wobbling and trying to get across the street. And I get hit by a car every 2 seconds in the process. You do the math on the probability of me surviving that. It is 1 in a quadrillion, I tell you.
私のターンも順調よ。さあ、ベルもどうぞ。
どうせ無駄なんだろうけど、警察通報を通じて内外の通信可否を確認。
I mean, if Lambda is trying to trick Ben Castell into something, I don't think she's really hiding it that well. I mean, here Ben Castell is.
外線は使用不能。内線は使えるみたい。台風で船も使用不能。クローズドサークルの出来上がりかしら。おめでとう。これでベルンが完全に探偵に昇格ね。
Police intervention sometimes robs the detective of some of her authority. However, with the construction of the closed circle, the existence of police had been denied forever. From now on, the authority of the detective piece will be completely guaranteed.
はいはい、ありがとう。ごちそうさま。それじゃあ早速ゲーム開始といこうかしら。
Erika, you're the main character. Now, begin.
源氏さんまでかよ。5人も殺されたのか。はい、
あんなひどい。
ゲストハウスの4人と全く同じだった。すっぱりとひどく鋭利な刃物で首を切られた。
僕が深夜勤だったのに不審者に気づけないなんて。
自分を責めるんじゃね
え。もし犯人と鉢合わせだったら命を落としてたのは自分だったかもしれねえんだぞ。
その上電話も通じんときた。この天気じゃ船も来んやろ。えらいことになったで。
ということは犯人はまだ私たちの身近にいる可能性が高いということだわ。
何ですか。台風が過ぎて船が迎えに来るまで私たちは人殺しと一緒にいるというわけですか。
大丈夫ですとも。こうしてみんなで一緒にいれば犯人だって手出しは。
しかもなった。そんな。
私たちミスミス殺されはしないわよ。ジョージの仇を撃ってやるわ。許さない。誰が犯人だろうと何が理由だろうと私はジョージの仇を許さない。殺してやるわ。殺してやる。
はい、皆さん、泣き言は十分ですか。ご静粛に。クラウスさんはまだお見えにならないのですか。さっきから電話をおかけしているのですがお出にならないのです。
受話器が外れていると。
いえ、呼び出し音はします。聞こえていないはずはないのです
が。どういうことだ。まさかクラウスおじさんも。
やっぱりね。こんな時に不謹慎だけれどもゲストハウスの4人に源氏さんで5人、もう1人いるだろうと予想はしてたわ。どうしてよ。どうしてそんなことがわかるのよ。あんたが犯人なの。あんたがジョージを殺したの。
やめなさいエヴァさん。今はそんなことをしとる場合では。
Eva got agitated and grabbed that kitty. Nanjo stepped in between them, and it grew into a bit of a scuffle. Watching this, Erika smiled condescendingly and shrugged.
でしょうね。ゲストハウスの現場を拝見した時点で6人の犠牲は読めて当然です。4人しか死体がなかったのであとの2人は誰だろうと思っていたくらいなので。
なんでそんなことがわかるのよ。あんたが殺したの。あんたがジョージを。
予算かエヴァ。エリカちゃん、キリエさん、 なんでそんなことがわかるんや。
The epitaph.
適当なことは言わんといてや。
簡単な連想よ。ゲストハウスの犯行現場に書かれていた落書きは魔法陣。魔法と殺人から連想するものを考えただけ。
気分か。
そうか、第一の番か。
え、どういうことですか？
いえ、私にもさっぱり。
そういうことか。魔女め。
これはやっぱりベアトリーチェ様の仕業なの？
あんたたち何を勝手に分かった風なこと言ってるのよ。私にはさっぱり分からないわよ。説明なさいよ誰か。
だからエヴァ、少し落ち着くんや。
そういうことです。あの犯行現場の魔法陣を見た時点で、この殺人が碑文の第一の番をなぞった見立て殺人であり、犠牲者は6人であることは想像できていました。ただ魔法陣がそこに存在するだけで、フルダエリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。いかがでしょうか皆様方。
じゃあクラウスおじさんも殺されてるってのか。
Yeah, won't be sure until they find him. I mean, let's not forget that not even Kinzo is here. And we all know how much everyone has been talking about him too over the past 24 hours. He is suspected of disappearance as well at this point.
そうだとも決めつけられません。ここに来ないのはクラウスさんだけではありませんよ。
Alright.
もう一人いらっしゃいます。
For just an instant, Natsu's brow furrowed. As she feared, she wouldn't be able to avoid the topic of the study.
まさか親父、おい、誰か書斎には連絡したんだろうな。
もちろんお電話させていただきましたし、ノックもさせていただきました。ですがそのお返事はなく。
当主様はご自身の研究に没頭されておいでです。時に電話を切られ、受話器を外しノックを無視することもあります。
しかし呼び出し音はちゃんと。
とにかく主人の無事を確かめる方が先です。主人の寝室へ行きましょう。
Natsu stood up in a flurry and dashed out to the corridor. Rudolph and the others immediately chased up her, telling her to wait.
さあさあ、皆さんもご一緒に。三流ミステリーも三流スプラッターも単独行動を取る人から死にますよ。ああ、言わんやこのゲームもまたしかり。ベアとってば三流だわ。
Oh, but in third-rate disaster and action movies, it's the ones who act alone who survive, isn't it? Weird.
もはや碑文は解かれたというのに、誰が望んでこんな真似を。
ラムダデルタ教の駒と思われる19年前の男とやらの仕業かもしれません。おっと、そんなはずもありませんが。
これまでのゲームですでにベアタは赤き真実で、金蔵が消えて18人以上は存在しない、18人目は存在しないと明言しているわ。そして今回はそれにエリカが1人加わって19人目が存在しないと明言されてる。19年前の男とやらが島に入り込む余地なんてないわ。
ならば19年前の男は既存の人間の中の誰かが語っているか。 さもなくば。
I'm just gonna go with the first option there.
赤で19人目が許されずとも、そこに19人目を紛れ込ませるなど、わらわならば魔女ならば造作もなくやってのけるがな。面白くなってきたぞ。もうしばらく様子を見させてもらうとしよう。それにしてもラムダデルタ教にベルンカステル教名、いよいよに我がゲーム版にて好き放題を始めよった。
分かっていてお招きになったのではありませんか。
退屈を嫌うわ。わらわも魔女なれば同じこと。
Wait. You know what? I just realized this. We are in the meta-narrative world here. And Beatrice talks like her usual self. I can understand that the normal Beatrice that we've known before would talk with Rono and Virgilia, like, and such. Inside the game port, we're not seeing all of that, but here? Because we also have the current Beatrice who will not talk like at all. The hell does this mean? That we have two meta-narrative worlds? And this meta-narrative world is inside the other, like, presumably much bigger meta-narrative? Like, with long-hair Beatrice? This meta-narrative with this Beatrice and the other meta-narrative with the other Beatrice? I feel like I wanna cry.
この想定外さえも魔女なれば想定される喜びである。よかろう。受けて立とうぞ。
受けて立つのは上等だけど、まず分かってる？
ですが、様子見を気取る段階とはやや言い難いかと。
分かっておる。このままいけば金蔵の存在が再び蒸し返される。書斎の結界も長くは持たんな。
それだけじゃないわ。さらに厄介な展開になるわよ。いい？1手、2手、3手、詰めて、夏日。
Gop whispered something into Battle's ear. Battle's mouth slowly widened into a crooked smile.
エリカが全員を集めたのは、むしろ我らには好都合です。観測者の及ばぬすべての闇は、我ら悪魔のもの。今を逃しては撃てぬ手かと。
夏日はキング。動けぬ駒なれど、取らせることは許されぬ。先手を取ろう。ここで失すると、夏日が詰められる。ガープ、頼めるか？
もちろん。密室トリックもアリバイもミステリーなんて私がまとめて風穴を開けてあげるわ。任せて。私が始末する。
A pitch black hole opened up in the floor and swallowed up Gop along with the chair she sat in. Then, a hole opened in the ceiling and spat just the chair back out, jumping it back into its original spot. Okay.
厄介なことになりましたな。
God damn it, Gop. That's like the 50th time you're gonna do that kind of trick. Like, you're breaking the wood, like, under the chair when you do that.
なるほどな。ラムダデルタ教にかかっては、わらわすらも駒に過ぎぬというわけか。序盤は、駒の損得より展開を急げという。かなわぬな。あの御人には、そうはさせぬぞ。夏日は、わらわの仕える最後の主。
このベアトリーチェと契約する限り決して取ることかなわぬ駒と知れ。
クラウスの部屋は空っぽ、ベッドは空っぽだったけど、それまでの5人の殺害現場と同じでおびただしい血痕が残されていたわ。
でも死体はない。
ないわね。
じゃあ死んでない。
ないかもね。
どういうこと？兄さんはどこにいるのよ。
この血まみれのベッドじゃな。考えたくねえが、ゲストハウスと同様に首を切られて殺されたと考えるのが妥当だろうぜ。
でしょうな。この出血量では無事を考えるのは難しい。
Yeah, I won't count on this blood to be Krause specifically. Like, we can, but this can very well be other people's blood too, as long as we don't have the body here. Like, maybe someone like Genji was killed in here and moved into the servant's room, while Krause may still be alive somewhere. We don't know that yet.
しかし旦那様はどちらに？
Large amounts of blood stained the bed, but there were no similar marks on the floor of the room. When missing from his room on the second floor of the mansion, there were large amounts of blood on the bed, making the situation bear a strong resemblance to those of the other victims. He's the only victim of the first Twilight whose body was never witnessed. Well, I mean, if it's the bed only, then I can imagine a situation like this. In order for the culprit to move the body without having blood spew everywhere, they rolled the body with sheets all over, like a burrito or a maki roll or something like that. That way, only the sheets were bloodied, but the culprit can move the body without having blood spew everywhere on the floor and such, all the way to the servant's room. Like thus, if it was Genji, they moved the body just like that. But if Krause is still alive, somewhere around, I'm not sure, and other people like Genji got murdered here, that would imply that Genji willingly let the culprit kill them in Krause's bed. Maybe to possibly make us think that Krause got killed as well, since we see blood here, which would instantly make us think that this is Krause's blood, when in fact, it could be Genji or someone else's. That, or we can think of the easier option of how Krause got hit here, but he did not die, and the culprit kidnapped him. Like, only blood was left here, in that sense, but Krause did not die. Who knows? Whether Krause had run to safety somewhere after being seriously wounded, or whether he'd been killed and carried somewhere. They have no clue where this somewhere was. Natsuki knew. Though Krause had been sounding far from his best over the phone, he at least hadn't sounded like he was on the brink of death. In other words, these bloodstains had to be a ruse. And that might not even be blood. Just what is that man thinking? What is all this for?
なんてこったい。第一の晩にどこにお生贄にっちゅうのか。
クラウス兄さんには自分の部屋の扉を施錠する習慣はないの？私たちは今鍵を開けずに入ったわ。
いえ、旦那様にも施錠の習慣が。
当家では公共の場所以外は施錠が義務付けられております。
クラウスおじさんの部屋を開けられる鍵は何本あるんだ？
旦那様がお持ちの1本の他に マスターキーがああ、鍵がどうこうなんてくだらない論争です。源氏さんがすでに犠牲になっていることをお忘れですか？彼のマスターキーは紛失しています。ですから今やこの屋敷のすべての鍵は意味をなしません。つまらないですね。つまりこの屋敷には密室殺人は今までもこれからも存在しないということです。
I see. It does make me question where that key is. Who has it in particular? The master key.
やれやれ。
Good grief indeed.
退屈なミステリーになりました。
Erika laughed off this murder in disappointment, as though it was something she was watching on TV. I cannot understand her. Why is her world so different from ours? It's almost like she's being a being from another dimension.
ジェシカもこんな風にベッドで。
ええ、そうよ。ジョージと同じに首を切られて。
ジェシカに合わせて。私ジェシカの顔さえ見てないんです。ジェシカ
待ちや、ナシーさん。
まだ犯人が近くに潜んでいるかもしれない。一人にさせるのは危険だ。